But as an expert, you've always worked on this. 2 years ago, we had the Channels Forum where we talked about security issues, and you were also part of that forum at that point in time. What would you say that we haven't done well, that you're against us talking with the group? Because in any case, we've always been proactive in a way, to the extent that, well, is what some people call fire for fire. So if that hasn't yielded any kind of, should I say, desired peace for us as a people, why don't we take the option of dialogue?
So like, I'm sick and tired of the kind of hypocrisy we practice in this country. Let me tell you something. These things will not die down until certain fundamentals are put in place, and one of which is, for instance, I tell you that the gap between the rich and the poor is too wide. You see, it's widening by the day. Many people are graduating from university, no job to do. Although you can tell me that that's no excuse for anybody to take to criminality. But I tell you, it's an inducement. Whatever you think of it, you see an individual who has stolen the whole community dry, who has mortgaged the future of his own people, okay? And is giving a slap in the wrist. No deterrence. People who are not in that position, they will be gearing up to get to that position so that they can also steal with impunity. There is so much of culture of impunity in this country. Until we deal with the culture of impunity, there can be no end to the Boko Haram thing, there can be no end to kidnapping, there can be no end to ritual murder, there can be no end to all this criminality. We say there can be no end. Before you get peace, there must be justice. We cannot avoid it. If we think that, look, I'm against, dialoguing with criminals, okay? I'm for exterminating them. But you cannot exterminate them if you do not put enabling environment for them to operate. Give them no excuse. We don't have job to do. Don't give them that excuse. There is no light to do anything. Give them no excuse. There is no road to go from one place to the other. Give them no excuse. Let the government act. Let the government behave. Let the government act out its own reason debt. The reason why the government is existing, we don't know it. It doesn't have any reason now in Nigeria. Everybody is his own government. And somebody says to criminality, you say you want to kill him?
You haven't
mentioned. Will come out again.
You haven't mentioned the ongoing intervention in Mali. You don't think it has anything to do with this?
Ongoing intervention in Mali, for instance, where that Nigeria is there is normal, because Nigeria is a big brother to Africa. So Nigeria is just playing its own role, because even his own interest is involved. Nigeria needs to do what it's doing in Mali to safeguard its own interest. We cannot afford to fold our arms while the Malians are killing themselves, because the aftermath of that will be influx of refugees in our country. We say our economy is already depleted. We can't afford to bring alien again to come and
make
it worse.
There's that school of thought that insurgents, there's a lot of training. I mean, we heard our defense people say that time and again, that these chaps also get a lot of training in Mali. And so since the forces have gone in, that intervention going there, dislodged them, so trying to regroup. And so it may be an excuse for this ceasefire deal.
It's not only in Mali they get training. You recall that the guy who went and bombed the UN building in Abuja came from training in Somalia. So there is this training ground all over Africa, especially where there is failure of government, where government is failing, where the state also is failing alongside. So the case we have on our hand in Nigeria today, the government is not doing anything to show that it's serious to fighting any evil. Look at the outcry that greeted the last weekend pronouncement or the judgment. I hate talking about it. I don't know whatever legal system will allow that. I don't know any civil service system that will allow a director in a civil service to have access to such loose funds, okay? Whereas the people who work for this thing are dying in frustration. So, a whole lot of things. We don't have answer to them, because the government doesn't have political will.
Experts like yourself and so many Nigerians have always complained that, the government has not even visited the region, specifically Borno, but now the vice president has been there, just the way the present president once, as vice president, visited the dreaded Camp 5 at that point in time, somewhere around Baramatu, and we all saw the outcome of that visit of President Jonathan, then Vice President and we saw the peace that has come to the region, relative peace.
Yeah.
So are we likely to see the same from Namadi Sambo, who also visited Maiduguri and some other parts in that particular state of Borno?
Sulai, there are reasons for fighting, okay? If an adversary is just a mere adversary who steals to satisfy his sociological or physiological needs, we say we can easily pacify him. But if an adversary is fighting based on ideology, I doubt if you can easily pacify such a man, okay? And more so if this person has external forces, you know, working for him or aiding and abetting him, so we have a great deal of problem. I'm not saying that they cannot negotiate or mediate or resolve issue at the peripheral level. No, that's the way I see it. But the way it is now, even if they resolve it, and they do like what they did in Niger Delta by an amnesty or whatever, I have always said it, and mark my words, another group of insurgents will come out from somewhere again, may not be from that side, seeking government attention. That's why I say until the right thing is done, to give nobody no excuse. Why did you take to cry? No excuse. We have provided you this, we provided you this. I've always said it alongside whenever I talk. When JF Kennedy was telling Americans, do not think of what America will do for you, but what you will do for America. He did not say it in a vacuum. He told American people that, look, I have provided you, we have provided you with a health care system, good education, you know, your children will no longer suffer. You are now proud American, this and that. Henceforth, he put the word, henceforth, do not think of what America will do for you, but what will you do for America? What has the government of Nigeria done for anybody to make it proudly say, you understand what I'm saying? So these things don't just come in a vacuum. You have to do something and let people now work on that. Now, no, many people don't feel the presence of government.
All right, in
terms of security, in terms of food, when you talk about security, say, people will make a mistake of removing food from security. Many people don't have food security in this country today. We talk about maybe security, you don't have accident and nobody shoots you or other. But starvation is shooting you by the day. And starvation is making many people to go and do things untoward.